Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new video for The Boys Season 3 Top 10 WTF Predictions. The showrunner just did a big Q&A where he answered a bunch of questions about what's going on with Season 3, the storylines, the new characters like Jensen Ackles coming on as Soldier Boy, even Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming to Season 3 as a new character. So we'll break it down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Obviously, careful for spoilers for everything that happened during Season 2 if you haven't seen any of the episodes yet. But just starting at the beginning, number 10, he confirmed that they're going to do a version of the Herogasm from the comics. No joke. The best way I can explain Herogasm in the context of the show without going so over the top that the video gets demonetized, because that's how crazy it gets, is that it's basically a giant superhero vacation week that the supers from all over the world go to, like the worst, most debaucherous spring break you could possibly imagine. This is the clip of him talking about that.
I know what scene you're talking about. There isn't going to be a Soldier Boy, Homelander having sex scene. But I will tell you, this is an exclusive for you guys. There will be a Herogasm in Season 3. You've earned it, you deserve it, and you're going to get it. Herogasm, Season 3, The Boys.
He says a couple different things during that, also involving Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy character, but massive superhero sex pile doesn't even begin to describe everything they get up to, so bring your penicillin and lots of hand sanitizer for Season 3 episodes. Imagine that final scene of Homelander from the end of Season 2 where he's on top of the Chrysler building just doing his business all over the street. Way crazier, I can do whatever I want, except it's all superheroes doing it in public at the same time at a vacation resort together. Clearly the show is rated R, it's super hardcore to begin with, but it should go without saying that they're gonna pull back a little bit from the comic book version of Herogasm. Number 9, in that same breath when he's talking about that, he also confirmed that they're not gonna do that Homelander Soldier Boy scene. As you could probably imagine, Jensen Ackles would probably be down for a lot of things, but he probably would not want to do that. You could totally go read about it in the comics if you want to get the full blast, but remember, the really crazy scene of Homelander with the doppelganger from Season 2 Episode 4, there's so many things we could say about that whole storyline with the doppelganger, him turning into Stillwell, giving him all those glasses of milk, but the Soldier Boy Homelander scene that the showrunner is talking about them not doing is closer to what Homelander almost got up to with the doppelganger when he turned into another version of Homelander. The version of Soldier Boy that shows up during the Herogasm storyline is also a very different version than the one that Jensen Ackles is going to be playing. He won't be such a beta to Homelander's Alpha Chad energy. Number 8, the showrunner said that when Jensen Ackles shows up as Soldier Boy, he's going to have a more contentious relationship with Homelander when he comes to Season 3. They're changing a lot about the character from the comics. Soldier Boy is the boys' version of Captain America. He was the Americans' first attempt at creating a superhero during World War II around the same time that the Germans in Vought were creating Stormfront. Don't worry, I will talk about her during Season 3 in a second too. But in the comics, Soldier Boy was a bumbling idiot that got all his squad mates killed on a mission because he was so terrible, and the comic book version of Mallory, who also fought during World War II, wound up killing him in retaliation for that. Then in the present day of the comics, there's also someone called Soldier Boy 2 who just wears the mantle, and he's just this beta male version of Captain America who runs the Payback team. Remember, their version of Marvel's Avengers, Stormfront also in the comics led the Payback team, so there might be some more references to Payback during Season 3. The version of the character that Jensen Ackles is playing will be more like Homelander. Like they say that he was Homelander before there was a Homelander, so when he shows up during Season 3, in the context of the show, Homelander will feel even more insecure about him because he's such a celebrity. What they're doing though is they're sort of giving him a storyline a little bit like Stormfront's, so he'll be both versions of Soldier Boy. He'll be the one from the past and aspects of the one from the present. So just like Stormfront, he'll be 100 plus years old because they were created around the same time. And he'd also have some history with Stormfront going back to World War II. Number 7, adding to that, they said that Jensen Ackles, when he shows up, will be one of the new antagonists. He's not the new main villain or anything. Homelander is kind of turning into the main villain if you didn't already think he was. Technically, Homelander has not been the main villain thus far. Butcher just thinks about him that way. The way the showrunner described him is that he said anyone expecting Jensen Ackles to show up in Season 3 and be a nice guy is going to be sorely disappointed. So he'll be a dirtbag, just like everyone else, just like Homelander. This is his quote about it. He says he's one of these guys that's been around for decades of Vought history, and he was Homelander before Homelander, so he's from a different era, but he's got the ego and the ambition, and it just comes across in a different way because he's from a different time. Kind of like a less racist version of Stormfront, just as bad but not racist in the way she was. He's not a Nazi or anything like that. The showrunner also did say that he's trying to get Jeffrey Dean Morgan on as a new character. Hopefully he'll play Tech Knight because he's a character that they've already talked about in the world of the show. They talked about his movies. And Tech Knight in the comics is a combination of Iron Man and Batman. He has his own Batcave. He doesn't have superpowers, but he uses technology to make himself a superhero. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is also a Supernatural alumni. Eric Kripke is the former showrunner of Supernatural. Jensen Ackles, coming from Supernatural. You have Bobby Singer from Supernatural. There was a bunch of Supernatural Easter eggs throughout the entire season. And the reason why I say Tech Knight is also because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, if you're talking about kind of a version of Batman from the DC universe, he was Thomas Wayne inside the DCEU, and he was almost a version of Flashpoint Batman in the Flash movie. So it'd just be really cool if they could bring him on as Tech Knight. It'd just be a fun wink at that. And if you thought that some of the stuff that Homelander was up to this season was messed up and twisted, Tech Knight also has a lot of that stuff going on too. But number 6, like I said, Stormfront will be back in burnt toast, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader fashion. The showrunner was very clear about her not being dead. This is the clip of him explaining that.
Stormfront is not at all dead. Homelander said she's being held in an undisclosed location. We never saw her die. Little Stumpfront, our little Nazi Stumpfront, is still alive. And for someone who dreamt of a master race, that she's going to be like mutilated for a very long time because she ages slow.
So what he's saying is that when she does come back, her burns will have healed because she does have super healing, but she'll be more like older Anakin Skywalker underneath Darth Vader's Sith armor, living out a very long life as this mutilated, ugly-looking version of herself. Number 5, they said that Kimiko will also talk a lot more during Season 3. He qualified this statement too because a lot of people heard him say this and thought that she'd start giving huge lectures and speaking out loud. No, what he meant is that because she's been teaching Frenchie to speak her special version of sign language, she's also starting to open up more to everyone else inside the boys too. Like she had that moment with Butcher where they kind of nod at each other and they both simultaneously realize what's going on between Homelander and Stormfront just from watching them do an interview together. She'll just start doing that with the other members of the boys, being more of a team member, a more well-adjusted version of the character, instead of just being sort of the X-Men version of Lady Deathstrike. She and Frenchie seemed like they were getting really close at the end of Season 2, but they're not quite at the relationship level of Huey and Starlight yet. But speaking of which, number 4, Starlight and Maeve inside the 7 with Homelander. According to the showrunner, they won't be calling the shots or anything like that. They're not going to secretly be leading the 7 or making him do what they want him to do. But even though things are really tense between them, they're going to be operating business as usual because Homelander wants to continue to keep up this lie. Vought needs the lie of the 7 to persist in order for them to continue making money. But as you see during that ending scene, she's wearing her old uniform again. That should tell you kind of what the dynamic is. She has a little bit more freedom now within the 7. They're not going to start chasing her down every time she doesn't do exactly what they ask her to do. Starlight and Huey are still going to be a couple. They made that pretty clear in their ending scene when he told her he was leaving the boys, but she was not, so Starlight is also now fully one of the boys. She has Butcher's respect, and she's totally on board with their way of doing things. She's actually way more hardcore than Huey is. But number 3, a lot of you be happy about this, Black Noir's backstory. They did reveal that we're going to learn way more about what's going on with Black Noir. Obviously, he's a very different version of the character from the comics. They made a couple references to him being more like a vegetable at the end of Season 2 after his big fight with Maeve, but that's just them talking about Compound V zombies and bringing people back from the death or from near death using massive doses of Compound V. But in addition to teasing that really cool aspect of the comics, we'll also just learn way more about what's going on with him as a character, just like we did with some of the other characters this season like Frenchie, getting his backstory. Number 2, Victoria Newman and the secret plot to take advantage of her new post. So I've already talked a little bit about this. She's probably just going to slowly pursue public office and become a little bit more like Vic the Veep in the comics, who she's based on. Victoria Newman in the comics is a man just called Vic Newman. He's the former CEO of Vought, and he's the current Vice President of the United States who winds up becoming president after the previous president gets killed. He doesn't have any superpowers, but he does have deep ties to Vought. So obviously, the TV show version of Victoria Newman is very different, but it seems like she's heading in that direction. Like eventually she's going to use this post, running the Office of Superhero Affairs, regulating superheroes in Vought, then slowly try to run for office. And this also goes hand in hand with the future of the show, because the showrunner said that they have 5 seasons of the show planned. For those of you that were wondering, how long is it going to run? He said 5 seasons. He also made a joke saying that I try not to plan ahead that far because he said that Supernatural was only going to run for 7 seasons, and look how many Supernatural has gone for now. So I'm assuming they won't get to a lot of that White House running for office stuff till the later seasons. So for most of season 3, she'll just be running the Office of Superhero Affairs. But yes, I do think that she has deep ties to Vought, and she is their plant that they're trying to put in the White House so that they can control the government. But number 1, Homelander and Ryan during season 3. So the big thing with Homelander is that obviously he's slowly losing his grip on reality. That was what that whole Psycho scene was about in that ending when it zooms into his face and him on top of the Chrysler building. The one thing that's keeping him from being a full-blown comic book villain is his desperate need for attention. He needs the love of people. That's why he backed off when Maeve threatened him. No one will ever love you again. And that was the one thing that caused him to let up on Butcher and let him go. So if they're planning a 5-season arc, I think it'll be season 5 before we see him finally say, screw it, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm gonna do literally whatever I want, and he'll go full comic book villain. It also, that goes hand in hand with Ryan's arc. Them trying to plan a 5-season arc out for him. Will he become the Superboy or the better version of Homelander that they want him to be and face off with Homelander when he goes full villain? They also said that Butcher will be checking in on Ryan from time to time, sort of watching over him, and he's going to be another version of what Huey was for him during season 2, sort of the thing that keeps Butcher on the good path, being a good person. But everyone, post all your predictions for The Boys Season 3 in the comments below for any of the characters, any of the storylines. I will keep doing Season 3 videos as they reveal more information. There'll be more teasers and stuff as they start to film early next year. Hopefully they get episodes out by the end of next year, but it could be early 2022 before we see episodes. I will be doing videos for The Mandalorian Season 2 episodes in a couple weeks when that starts releasing, so as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos when I post them. And then after The Mandalorian Season 2, the Avengers Wandavision episodes will start dropping on Disney Plus as well. But congratulations to the giveaway winners from my last couple of Big Boys videos. Sean Clough and the Razor Hale, please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone, click here for The Boys Season 3 teaser trailer, and click here for The Boys Season 2 Episode 8 finale video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.